My name is Monishwaran. I'm an inventor and an algorithmist, and my passion is to build innovative machines that not only change the way we live but also solve problems creatively. I began exploring computer science from a very young age, around age 3. And it was a very interesting experience in building machines from very young age. And I did this with my father, of course. And at age 3, I used to open up home appliances just to look inside and see how they function. And believe me, it was worth the risk of getting electrocuted. If you notice, our universe, the human brain cells, and the internet all share a common thing. They are made up of similar structures. They are a medium of information travel. And I believe decoding the human brain is the key to solving the world's biggest problems, from poverty to suicides. The human brain is very interesting organ. It's one of the organs where you can't look directly inside and poke around. And you use scans like MRI or PET to see how the brain responds to any treatments that you give. And computers are really efficient at finding patterns. And our brain follows a certain pattern whenever we do a certain task. And we can use computers to figure out how our brain functions and what kind of pattern is it using to solve a certain problem. And this is a very interesting concept. And we can use a technology called deep learning technology to achieve this goal. Right now, millions of devices use deep learning technology. In fact, the application that I use to come to this TEDx conference use deep learning. The application is, of course, Google Maps, and it uses deep learning to navigate the surroundings and bring me here safely in the least possible time. And that is done through algorithms based on deep learning technology. Although deep learning has an immense impact on a variety of fields, I believe deep learning will have the greatest impact in the field of healthcare. And why do I think that? Mainly because of the sheer amount of data healthcare industry produces alone. In 2013 alone, 153 billion gigabytes of healthcare data were produced. And at a 48% annual growth rate, and by 2020, we'll have 14 billion gigabytes of data that is only produced from healthcare industries. Like I said before, computers are really effective at finding patterns. And this pattern detection improves when we have a larger data set. So basically, if you have more data, it becomes more accurate. So what a computer does is basically predicts what's going to happen based on this data. So let's take an example. Let's say you have a series, 1, 2, 3, and so on. Most of you, if I ask you, what is the next number in this series, would say 4 and 5, right? But in this series, this answer is incorrect. It is 1, 2, 3, 5, 8. The series goes like this: 1, 2, and 2 plus 1, 3, 3 plus 2, 5, and 5 plus 3, 8, and so on. So the next number will be 13. But there were two possibilities, right? So how will a person know that this converges to 5, 8, 13, and so on? Well, if I were given you another number, 1, 2, 3, 5, you would have guessed the next number to be 8. So if you have more data, our predictive response becomes better. And same goes with computers as well. And now I would like to give you an introduction to a project that I've been working on for a very long time. A project that has the potential to completely change the way we live and survive. I call it Project Health. So I would like to begin by asking, how many of you know a person who suffered from a neurological condition or a heart condition? My grandmother used to suffer from a neurological condition called schizophrenia. And her early demise was due to the late diagnosis of this neurological disorder. Millions of people suffer from disorders, something similar to this. And a lot of people don't make it because of misdiagnosis or late diagnosis. So I thought to myself, is there any way I can use deep learning technology to decrease the diagnosis time and provide better health care to patients. And turns out it is possible. And it is possible using deep learning technology. Millions of people in India as well, where the access to healthcare is limited and expensive, don't even visit a doctor even after the symptoms appear. The one possible way to curb the solution is to use deep learning and technology to implement and decrease the diagnosis time and also provide affordable healthcare. Another problem in diagnosing these neurological condition is the time period in the disease progresses. Neurological disorders like schizophrenia, ALS, or motor neuron disease take a long time to progress. The usual onset happens, and after nearly like a decade or so, the symptoms appear. And how do we curb this? How do we tell a person that he's going to have this disease even before the symptoms appear? Well, there are some minute changes in the behavior of the person which can be tracked down using deep learning. We can use devices like ECG, EEG, and MRI scans and feed the data into a computer algorithm, a deep learning algorithm, and it would predict the possibility of this person suffering from that disease. So using technology, you're not only saving a patient and giving a longer lifetime, and also providing valuable feedback to the patient using technology. And this innovation of mine, I take an MRI scan and I learn your behavior using wristwatches or ECG or EEG, and I feed the data into a computing system and run some algorithms on it. I could predict what disease you're suffering from. And this is really interesting because you're going to live a longer time because of early diagnosis. And another problem this innovation solves is the doctor-patient ratio. In India, we have a doctor-patient ratio of 1 doctor for every 921 patients. And this is a pretty huge deal over here. 1 doctor for 921 patients, that's huge. So we can bring that down to 1 doctor for 1 patient using this innovation. And also we can reduce the cost of healthcare. If I go to an MRI or a practitioner, he's going to charge me a huge lot of money, mainly because the doctor has to go through extensive experience and education to come to a level where he can diagnose effectively. But we can do that using computers. Computers are really fast. If you feed them data, they're going to learn quicker. And using deep learning, we can do that. And we can provide affordable healthcare to everyone, everywhere over the world. I believe humans and machines can interact with each other and solve problems more creatively.